By now you may have heard that the Salafi scholar Rabi bin Hadi al-Madkhali has passed away. But who was he and why are so many people celebrating his death? Rabi' was born in the year 1351 Hijri. He studied under many scholars and he ultimately completed his master's and then his PhD focusing on hadith sciences. Some of his major works that are not refutations include Manhaj al-Anbiya fi da'wa ila Allah and Manhaj Ahl-Sunnah fi Naqd al-Rijal. And so when the three great Salafi shuyukh of Saudi Arabia passed away, Uthaymin bin Baz and al-Albani, someone needed to carry the flag. However, the government of Saudi Arabia has started having some serious problems, both with al-Albani and al-Uthaymin, but also more problematic. Many of the next generation of Salafis had gotten swept up in the Sahwa movement and were opposed to the political decisions that the Saudi Arabian government was making, especially with regards to its allegiance to the United States and its lack of outward hostility and opposition to the Zionist entity. As a result, the Saudi government attempted to crack down on the Salafi movement. However, since Salafism is very much a part of the DNA of Saudi civil society, they were unable to get the populace to stick to ulama like Muhammad Alawi al-Maliki. As a result, they needed to co-opt the Salafi movement. And so Rabi' bin Hadi al-Madkhali provided an opportunity. He was able to construct a version of the Salafi manhaj which was about cementing the authority of rulership. With respect to Aqidah, because of his hardline traditionalist stance, Rabi' was able to revive many of the obscure views of the early muhaddithun. These are known in the Islamic tradition as Hashawis. The Hashawis are very close to being Mujassima, and their books were very obscure until revived in the last about 20 years or so. This includes hyper-literal interpretations, the total rejection of any kind of logic, and raising even weak narrations to the point of being mandatory Aqidah. With regards to fiqh, Rabi' very much followed in the steps of Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, which is a mistaken approach that rejected fiqh altogether and believed in doing ijtihad directly from the text, especially from hadith. Rabi' was also at the forefront of the total rejection of any kind of Islamic spirituality. He deemed all kinds of tasawwuf and Sufiya as mubtadi'ah. The key feature of the da'wah of Rabi' ibn Hadi al-Madkhali is tabdi', which is the practice of calling other Muslims as innovators. We know that the Prophet Muhammad said, إياكم ومحدثات الأمور فإن كل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. In the Madkhali conceptualization of Aqidah, this concept of bid'ah is highly exaggerated to the point where it's talked about as much as kufr and shirk. And this is why we see so much harshness towards Muslims and softness towards the disbelievers in the Madkhali sect. One of the major bid'ah that Rabi' introduced was a very sophisticated narrative around allegiance to the rulers, to the point where his followers still think your political decision to support a king who is not ruling by Islamic law is one of the major aspects of whether or not you'll get into Jannah. Because of that, concepts like al-wala wal-bara, sharia, and others have been totally distorted.